you had a good time writing your book. I did not enjoy writing the book that we did.
Really?
No, I didn't enjoy it at all. And part of it had to do with the guy that they sent. This guy was from England sent over.
That was not a good call.
No.
In hindsight, my guy that I finished my book with is from Ireland, and he was a perfect fit. I got very, very lucky, very blessed. Paul O'Brien's his name. He's wonderful, and we're going to do a sequel. Because we're on the fourth printing, or getting ready to go on the fourth printing of our book that came out on October the 18th. And so,
and you really didn't even delve into your WWE career yet. In the first one was all about pre-WWE, right?
Well, yeah, it was just, I wanted chronologically, I wanted spots I could start and end with in that book, and it started while we were in Philadelphia for Austin and Rock 1 at WrestleMania, and I came back to the broadcast table that night to do that one match, because I remember tipping my hat to Michael Cole as we passed each other in the aisleway, and but then we closed it there. So that was pretty much the WWE. Some of the WWE stuff, not much, but the real heavy WWE load will come in the sequel, because that's the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, the company going public, XFL.
Oh yeah, that'll be huge.
All that stuff. Yeah, and unfortunately, I'll have to write about my wife's death.
Oh man,
to some degree, I just can't I can't address it. It will be addressed, and how I feel about it. I learned this, buddy. When you're talking about your deceased wife and your audio version of your book, it is challenging, and I ain't bullshitting nobody. It is tough, buddy.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad I did it, and I've really got some good feedback on the audio version of it. But it's like doing a performance, Jerry. It's not just like sitting down and monotonely reading a book.
Right.
You can't, guys like you and me can't do that. We got to give them something, and that's what I try to do in that read. But it's really real authentic. But you don't think about shit like that.
I don't know about yours, but like when they sent this guy down here to Memphis, the ghostwriter or whatever you want to call him. But anyway, they send this guy down to Memphis, and a funny thing, I don't know if the name he used on the book was like Ian Rothkirk or something like that, but his real name was, and I don't even remember, but say it was Joe Blow or something. I remember when the book came out, it said, co-written by Ian Rothkirk. So I called the guy up and I said, "What happened? They don't even have your name on the book." And he said, "Oh yeah, I didn't want to use my real name because someday I may want to write a real book."
What?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So anyway, you can tell what our relationship was like writing.
You didn't have a good experience.
No, not at all. I mean, he came down and he just hung around me for like 2 months and rode with me everywhere. And I'm telling him all these stories. And then basically what he did was just go back and apparently sort of type out what I had said on the trips and telling the stories. And then he would send it back to me and I would read it and I go, "Oh my gosh, was I that boring? Was I that unfunny?" And so then I would I would just go back and try to put in a bunch of one-liners and to try to spice it up a little bit. And then that made him mad. And so it just, I didn't have a good time.
It's like, Jerry, it's like some of our relationships have been in our life.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Good ones, some are not. That's another story for another time. But I will tell you that you have a magnificent story to tell, but you have to be in an environment that you enjoy sharing those stories. And the person listening to you that's going to actually put pencil to paper type thing, they got to be able to ask follow-up questions. I got Scott Williams to do my first go-around of my book. He was an investigative reporter with a law degree who had written Bill Watts and Terry Funk's book. So I thought, this is a perfect guy, investigative reporter. So he comes up. We spend months in a hotel, weekend here, weekend there, here next to my house, near my house. And I was like being deposed. It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, right.
Really, really, really good. And when I'd answer a question, he would ask a follow-up, like a good reporter or a good lawyer would. And everything we had was recorded. So then he took the tapes back to Houston. I had them transcribed, and so that was the foundation of what we decided to work with. And then Paul came aboard, and Paul's writing skills are so much. Scott died, while we were just coming around the home stretch almost, and so I lost him. And then in March, Jan died, and so me and Paul kind of finished the damn thing, kind of limped to the finish line, as they say, because man, I was about ready to hang it up. Said, hell, this book's jinxed. I'm done. I'm done. I didn't have any heart left. So, but if you get the right guy, Jerry, your story will be phenomenal. It'll be phenomenal.
Yeah, I got to hold 20 years since I wrote the first one.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, hey, look, any of that first stuff, you can do some. People are not going to remember verbatim what the first book was. They're just not. And I believe that everything all those guys, you got stories on some of the biggest names, and they ain't got all. It's not going to be dirt.
Right.
It was sleeping with wife, and the old Booker trick where you got a talent that's got a hot wife, so you book the talent on the road for 4 or 5 days, so you can go to that talent's house.
Easy now, easy. Where'd you ever hear that story?
Something like that. But I have worked for bookers that did.
Oh, okay. Good.
But the point is that there's a million stories, but you need somebody that's a good listener and that can ask those follow-ups that you enjoy talking to about it, because your attention span is short.
Yes, it is.
That's why you do any prep work.
Right.
I'd burn your ass out, and I wouldn't go get the best Jerry Lawler, and I needed the best Jerry Lawler to pull me along. So we just stopped preparing there, Glenn. It was all by feel, all of it by feel, and it felt good.